Ian. Awesome. So welcome everyone. Really excited to have you guys here today. I'm really excited to have our special guest, Cahill Camden, here today, as he's going to be talking about PR with you guys. I'm going to hand it over to him in a second, and he's going to be talking about how to get PR for your business. And this is incredibly important right now for all of us in the food industry, which is why I wanted to have Cahill come on now, because as there's a lot changing in the food industry, there are some certain pieces that specifically touch us that I know PR can address. So some of the things like brand trust. PR helps us so much with building brand trust. We all know it's becoming more and more competitive out there. And I mean, we are just naturally more likely to trust a brand that we have read about, seen somewhere else, heard about. We are more likely to trust those brands. So if your brand can get that mind time from people, get that airtime from other trusted sources, it helps you automatically elevate your brand compared to competitors. And what I love about what Cahill's going to be talking about is he's going to be talking about how you guys can get PR for a very, very affordable way. Because I don't know if any of you guys have ever looked at getting PR. It can be extremely, extremely expensive. So Cahill's going to be talking to you guys about the different ways that you can use PR for your business that isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg in your firstborn child, all right? So with that, Cahill, I am going to hand it over to you. Cahill Camden, he is a PR expert. He is a Forbes contributor. He has been all over the interwebs talking about teaching people how to get PR. He's also the founder of PressJockey, which is a fantastic tool. I used it this morning to pitch myself and my business. And he'll probably talk a little bit about that as well. But it is a fantastic tool that helps you get more press for less effort, less time, and less money. So without further ado, Cahill, thank you for joining. I'll let you share your screen and I will hand it over to you. If you guys have questions throughout, I think you can just throw them in the chat and Cahill will let you answer them at the end.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And hello, everyone. Nice to connect. Nice to meet you. I'm excited to present some of this information to you so that you can all start to take your businesses a step further in terms of getting that brand, building that brand awareness, building your exposure into different markets, and really getting yourselves seen and heard in the media. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. And by the way, everyone's from just all sorts of areas around Canada, United States, the world, right? Like, so everyone, is that right? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So here, let me share my screen and we're going to jump right into it. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Yes? Okay, awesome. So here's what we're going to talk about. How to secure 10K, about 10K a month in press for free or next to nothing. Okay. So a little bit about me, right? Like Ainsley shared, I am the founder and CEO of PressJockey. So that is a software application that we'll be showing a little bit later. But I have a digital agency that specifically has helped a number of companies get a lot of press. So we focus on press, content marketing, and paid media. And I've had a couple of clients last year get acquired for 8 figures. And so, you know, what I'm about to share with you is it comes from some experience, right? It comes from 8-figure exits. I've helped work with billion-dollar brands, clients who've had over 60 million users, but also all the way down to, you know, really small startups. We've helped them scale from almost nothing to thousands and thousands of clients and customers, you know, and grow from there. Okay. So where is all of this coming from? It's coming from experience. I've been featured in a number of different publications myself. Like Ainsley said, I'm also a Forbes contributor. I've written a best-selling book. So I've been in the press world quite a lot. And I want to kind of share some interesting things with you about press, because I don't think everyone's telling you what you need to know about press. And like Ainsley said, it can cost an arm and a leg when working with traditional press agencies. Okay. So before we jump into it, let's talk about the benefits of press exposure. Okay? Because a lot of people, from what I found, think, well, do I really need press? Is it going to really help me? I'm not sure if this is something for me. Okay. And so here are five of the key benefits that I found press to help with our clients. Okay. One, you obviously get brand exposure. Okay. So if you are looking to connect with your audience, or if you're looking to connect with a broader audience, getting in media helps you do that, right? It's just like you are getting in front of a new readership or viewership, think YouTube channels, think, TikTok, that type of thing, or listeners, think podcasts. This is all part of press now. This is all part of media. Okay. So you get more brand exposure when you do press. The other thing that you do is you build trust and social proof. Okay. So as a growing business, which you all have, one of the challenges that we typically face is how do we get new customers, new clients to actually trust that we have great products, right? How do we get them to try out our product over someone else's? Well, that comes from trust and social proof. It's obvious from the things that I've heard, the wonderful things that I've heard from different from the community, is that you have great products, your products taste great, you have great ingredients, etc. But people have to trust you to try it, and people have to have social proof that others trust you to then think about you when they're pressing forward, okay, in the store and when they're shopping. So if you're featured on a magazine, or if you're featured in a gift guide, which we'll talk about in a bit, if you're featured somewhere else or you're mentioned and you include that in your communications, your community, your website, that gives you that social proof. Hey, I've been featured. Someone else trusts my company to be included in this gift guide. And so therefore you should give us a shot, right? Yes, that's number two. The third thing that it does is it helps you build your SEO ranking. Okay. So for those who are not familiar, that's search engine optimization. And I know we've all heard about probably ChatGPT and how it's shifting search, but for now, search engine optimization is very important. So think about it this way. When someone types in your brand, or they type in the category that you're in, how do you rank on the search engines? That's search engine optimization. Okay. And so the more placements you have in media, the more links back to your site you get, the higher your search engine rankings go up. Okay. And so the more you're likely to be found by potential customers looking for your product. Okay. The fourth thing it does is it helps you become an authority. Right. So we're not just thinking about press in terms of, hey, how can I get users to my business right now? How can I get them to just pick me up in stores immediately? It's about building your long-term brand as an authority figure in your space. Okay. What you'll notice with media, whether you watch the news, read newspapers, or on podcasts, etc., is that certain themes come up over and over again, right? Like, let's take the theme of inflation right now. There's a lot of talk about it. We all have probably felt it in our businesses and in our lives. And so who does the media turn to as an expert on inflation? Well, that's going to depend on who's become an authority in that space. Okay. And so you want to become an authority so that you can get more press opportunities. Okay. So that's why you want to become an authority as well. It's one of the benefits of press. And fifth, it does help to increase sales and conversions. Okay. Are you going to see a ton of sales spike up right away because you were featured in your favorite publication or favorite blog or favorite podcast? No, probably not. Unless you're on something like, the biggest podcasts in the world, then that's probably not going to happen. But it does drive up your conversions when you can use that as seen in, or as featured in, or some kind of social proof on your site. This does help you increase your sales conversions. Okay. So, it jumped. There we go. Okay. So here's what you need to know about press. Okay. There's two different types. Okay. There's the outbound press, which is the traditional Mad Men type of style. Sign up with a PR agency. We're going to have a great brainstorm session. we're going to create a fantastic pitch for your brand. We're going to reach out to all the publications and get you featured in Forbes and New York Times and like all the cool stuff. That is what outbound press is all about, okay? That's when you're dealing with PR agencies. You can do this on your own as well, okay? It's basically cold outreach. If you're using a company like ours, right, and this is most PR agencies, we charge between $5,000 and $25,000 a month to do this kind of work. Why? Because we're good at it and we can get great placements and we build great stories, and it compounds so that you get a lot of business, and a lot of exposure over time. But you're going to pay $5,000 to $25,000 a month. It's quite a bit of money, especially if you're not funded or you don't have it, right? So you can do this on your own. It just takes time, okay? So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But one of the things that a lot of press companies don't tell you about, or PR experts don't tell you about, is that there's this whole world of inbound press, okay? And inbound press happens when there are thousands of media requests that happen every day from publications like the New York Times, from podcasts, from bloggers, from YouTubers, anyone who's making content and wants to have an expert like you talk about something. They often post a request on various platforms and on Twitter, et cetera. And I'll show you this. And they say, hey, I'm looking for an expert to help me understand X, Y, and Z about nutrition, or I'm looking for an expert to help me understand how these spices affect, your energy, or I'm looking for an expert to understand what's happening with our food system or our farming system, right? And they put out a request, and you can tap into that request and leverage these inbound press requests for next to nothing. Okay, so that's what we're really going to focus on today. Yeah. Now, there's pros and cons to both. I covered them very, very briefly, but let's get into them a little bit more because I think it's important for you to know. Okay, let's talk outbound press first, because this is what I think everyone's really familiar with. Outbound press, some of the pros are you get to choose your targets. Okay, you're in control of the narrative or the story that you're pitching to these media outlets. So again, whether you're working with a team like ours or another agency, or whether you're doing this on your own, you would build a story narrative, or a story arc is what we call it, and you would pitch yourself to the media. Hey, I'm a food founder, we've started from X, we've come to Y, here's why we're different, here's how we're trying to change the industry. Do you want to talk to us about this specific subject? You will either get a yes or no. So that's outbound press. You control the narrative and you control who you're reaching out to. Okay? So that's a real pro, because you get to decide, hey, I want to speak to a very specific audience. Maybe I want to talk to new moms, or maybe I want to talk to the 50 plus market. You get to decide who you're targeting. Okay. The cons of outbound press, like I said, it's expensive. It can cost, 5 to 25K a month, and it can go up from there as well. Great PR firms are also hard to find. Okay. And if you're going to do this on your own, you do have to spend time doing it. You've got to find your contacts, right? So that means searching on LinkedIn, searching on YouTube, going to blogs, going to publications, clicking contact us. You got to take time to do that. Then you've got to build your pitches, and you got to send your pitches and follow up, and you've got to take care of all of this, okay? So it will take you some time, okay? But you get to choose your targets, you get to control the narrative, okay? So pros and cons. If we go over to the right side of this table, inbound press, the pros are there are thousands of free opportunities every day, okay? Are all of these opportunities going to be exactly for you? No, absolutely not. And I'll show you this in a second. But you will find that there are thousands of opportunities. Depending on the angle you want to take, there's going to be hundreds of opportunities specifically for you as an expert, okay? The pros of this as well are it's low cost and it can be free if you do all of the work, okay? So again, there are tools out there that we're going to get into that you can use and you won't have to pay a dime. Okay. The cons are you're at the whim of what the media is publishing. So if they're writing a story about specific food trends or specific farming trends, you have to respond to that story itself. You can't pitch your narrative as much. You can a little bit, but not as much. Okay. So you're basically responding to what the media is asking about. Okay. So you don't get really as much of a choice. The other thing is, just like with the outbound press, inbound press takes a lot of time. There's thousands of requests every single day. So you've got to sort through them. You've got to filter through them. You've got to go to the platforms. You've got to check Twitter. You've got to do the follow-ups. You got to keep on top of it. Okay. So those are the pros and cons about both. Okay. So before we go to the next slide, I recommend we consider both. Okay. If you want to go with a PR firm and you have that type of resource to do it, they can be great. They really can be. Okay. If you don't have the resources to do that, you can still find your targets. So for example, what do? We will build a list of 100, 200 targets. That might take us, a week or two to find. And then we start with a pitch or a story narrative that we built. We start reaching out to those prospective media outlets, pitching your story. And we tweak and adjust consistently so that we find something that really sticks. And then we start to get placements for our clients. You can follow that exact same strategy. And we're going to be building pitches today. I'll show you how to build pitches so that you can get the press. But you can do that. And so I think that is a really great thing to do if you've got the time. Okay. On the inbound side, this is what we're going to focus on a little bit more, but I do think this is also very valuable. And so we use tools like PressJockey, which I created, to actually manage this inbound press so that you don't have to do all the work and a lot of it's automated for you. And you get the opportunities there as well. Okay. So let's get into it a little bit more. So press outreach musts. Okay. So we're gonna talk about this inbound press side here. And I will sprinkle in the outbound press insights as well. Okay. So press outreach musts. Okay. So you've got to find the right press requests and media requests. Okay. So with the tools that we're going to talk about, there are, again, thousands of requests. So you got to go through them. Okay. One of the key things you want to do is you really want to respond quickly. This is super huge. This is why you got to be on top of it. So if you are going to be doing this yourself, or if you've got a VA or a team member who can help you out with this, you want to schedule a time every morning, maybe even in the afternoon, spend 30 minutes or an hour if you're not using PressJockey to go through and really respond to the requests quickly. Okay, speed wins here, as well as having a great pitch. Okay. And so then when you're pitching yourself, you want to answer these questions, and we're going to get into it. This is a question that sounds very direct, but we've got to think about it from the perspective of the journalist, the podcaster, the blogger, etc. You've got to answer the question, so what? Why should I care? And this is really not about you personally. It's just, think about it this way. I'm a Forbes contributor, and I'm not even one of the main ones, and I get inundated with requests every day, maybe not even that many, 5, 10 on LinkedIn, saying, hey, can you talk to me about this? Hey, let's connect. And it's just like, nope, I don't want to. I don't have time to talk to you. Now imagine a top contributor, top writer or editor at Forbes or entrepreneur or whatever the magazine might be, or blog or podcast. They're getting dozens of requests every day. And so the faster you can answer this question, so what? Why should I care about your business as it relates to me, the publication? The faster you can answer that, the better chance you have of getting featured. Okay. You also want to explain how your authority is going to help them, right? It's not about you, it's going to be about them. So you might have a great product, you might have fantastic ingredients, you might have a great amount of experience. That's all fine and dandy, but explain it in the perspective of how it's going to help them with their audience and their article and their content that they're going to build. Okay. Then lastly, the last couple points is you want to have a great call to action. Okay, so this is something we've seen clients do where they say, hey, do all these things. And it's like, no, you want to have a simple, clear call to action, and you want to keep it really short. Okay, so again, speed wins, keep it short. They're getting a lot of emails and a lot of requests. Okay, so let's talk about how to find press requests. I'm actually just going to jump into this and show you what it looks like. Okay, let's jump over here to, boom. Okay, so this is a tool that everyone can use, okay? It's called Hero, Help a Reporter Out. You can literally go on here and sign up for free. You can do that, you can log in. And what happens is, as you can see, they've got 75,000 plus journalists and bloggers who are posting requests all the time for sources for things. So you would sign up as a source, and you'd fill in your profile. I'll show you what it looks like. You'd fill in your profile. Whoops, not that one. And then you'd be able to get requests delivered directly into your inbox. Okay, so I'm here as source, as you can see, and I filled in all the Hero references that I want to get. So I get Master Hero, and I get all of these things in my inbox. Okay, so you can go in here and you can do that. Save an update, and you're done. So this will deliver emails to your inbox a few times a day with everything. So you have to then go through the emails, you have to sort through, and you have to figure out which press requests are best for you. Okay, so that's Help a Reporter Out. It's a tool that you can use. Another one that you can use is Twitter. Okay, so there are a number of hashtags like this, journal request, and you can, like, I literally just plug this in. You can see journal request. There's journal request gift. So for many of you, that might be something great. You just type in this hashtag, and you will see, looking to speak to someone who launched their small business during the financial crisis. Get in touch. Great. I have no idea what publication she's with. I have no idea if she's a blogger or podcaster, but I can reach out to Anghard Carrick, and I can get in touch and ask her those questions and maybe get featured or included in her publication. Okay. You can see other ones. I put together a free daily journal request roundup. Okay, that's not it. Great. Interviewing, anyone is interested in a 10 to 15 minute interview with me, please let me know. And here's her story call out. Okay, so you can scroll through these requests, and there are over a dozen hashtags like this that you can use to actually find requests that match you, that match your business. Okay, I use PressJockey, and so PressJockey is obviously a tool that I created, but we pull in all of that data and make it easy for you, right? And so with PressJockey, you can see here, for example, let's take a look. Filtered requests. Okay, so we have a bunch of keywords. This is my demo account, right? So I have a demo account, and let's look at the word food. Okay, so I just clicked on food. So this is the keyword, and here are all the requests. You notice this journal request looking for a nutritionist. This was found today, Tuesday the 21st. And so we pull in data from Twitter. We pull in data from How. We pull in data from multiple sources. So yes, this does cost, 40, 50 bucks a month to start. For right now, it's discounted, but so it's almost free, but this will save you a ton of time, like many hours. Again, you can use the free tools if you want. There's Help a Reporter Out, there's Twitter, there are other platforms that you can sign up to. Again, we pull in all that data here so that you can actually just see what is going on with the actual requests. And so here we can see, I'm looking, journal request, looking for a nutritionist to talk to me for a Women's Magazine article on healthy and unhealthy foods, dietitian, nutrition, health, diet, food. Okay. even if you're not a dietitian or a nutritionist, you could respond to this. And if you are a client of ours, we would probably respond to this because it's my guess, and this is going to depend on each of you, but it's my guess that you can probably talk about healthy and unhealthy foods. Like I'm sure you know about that as food founders and as people who have created businesses in the space. I'm sure you can speak to that. And so what you would do, you can see here, it's for Julie Cook. She's the Daily Mail, Sun, Telegraph, broadcaster, GB News. Okay, awesome. So what you could do is you could tweak your pitch and say, hey, Julie, I have this, here's how I can provide benefit to your audience. And you can respond. And Julie might say, oh, okay, that's very interesting. Let's talk. And now all of a sudden you can get featured. Okay? And so what we do with PressJockey, which we'll get to in a little bit, is you would just reply to the request here and you hit send, and in 2 clicks you can get out a message to Julie. Okay. So this is what we use to aggregate all of these requests that are happening around the web and reach out to different publications. Okay. And so as you can see, there are dozens and dozens of these matches. Some of them are from Twitter. You can see tweet. Some of them are emails from different places. And so, you'll see podcasts in here. You see all sorts of things in there. Okay. Let's take a look at, for example, the matches. So I put in, so you can see my keywords here, right? I put in a couple of them: gift, food, nutrition. Okay. So you can see the number right next to this keyword right here. Okay. This number represents the amount of matches for this keyword that were found last month. Okay. So I did a historic lookup here and I said, okay, let's just see how many matches we got, right? So with food, there were 368, nutrition 170, gift 423. So that's about 1,000 matches last month for the types of things that you would probably want to rank for, okay? You would probably want to get press for. So you can use this tool to jump in, put in these keywords, and start to reply. Now, again, we've got to remember that with any kind of press, whether you're doing outbound, so that's the cold email type of press, or whether you're doing inbound, right, which is PressJockey, Harrow, that type of thing, it is a numbers game. Okay. So don't be discouraged when you send 100 requests, you talk to 15 people. Out of those 15 people, you have 5 conversations, and out of those 5 conversations, you get placed 2 or 3 times. 2 or 3 times on the right publications is a huge amount, and it's a big deal for your business, right? You get placed on the Telegraph, or you get placed on the New York Times, you get placed in a top food blog, that is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, because not only does it help you immediately, but it sticks around for a long time, right? A year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. Okay, so it's worth a lot of money. Yeah. So that's how you can find press requests, on the internet. Okay. Now, one of the important things that we really have to talk about is how we actually pitch ourselves so that we actually get higher placement for either outbound or inbound press opportunities that we're responding to. Okay. So let's explore what a winning pitch framework looks like. And this is what I literally go through with clients. Yeah. Okay. So let's start off by remembering, when you write your pitch, you're writing it for that media outlet. This means you want to take less of an I focus and have more of a you focus. So for example, I have 10 years experience as a food founder, or I have 10 years experience as a nutritionist, or I have 10 years experience as a, as a farmer. It doesn't matter what it is. It shifts to, you'll get insights about nutrition from my 10 years experience as a nutritionist. So it's about you, meaning that blogger, journalist, podcaster, etc., versus about me. I've got a company. I'm successful because I've accomplished this. I can do this for you, right? It's got to be more you focused, okay? So that is the overarching pitch shift that a lot of people miss, okay? So the next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to show you an email as well. The next thing we want to do is we want to keep it very short, like extremely short. For best results, this is what we found after sending thousands of these. You want to stick to 2 or 3 paragraphs. You want to have no more than 3 sentences per paragraph. Okay. We do add additional resources or links for additional insight so that that journalist or podcaster can do a bit of extra research. And you can bold or italicize really key points for skimming purposes, right? Think about how you respond or you look at emails yourself, and now think about what the journalist or the podcaster is going to be doing, okay? So this is how we build our pitches, okay? This is the main question that we want to answer. So what? Why should I care? Okay. And I know it sounds a little abrasive. I know it sounds a little forward, but it's really a good place to think in terms of how we can get ahead of the competition and really start to get a lot more placements with our press. Okay. So we've talked about this and I've mentioned it many, many times. We got to think about the journalist, the blogger, the podcaster. Okay. What are they looking for? They're looking for interesting insights, right? So that they can get more clicks and drive more revenue, whether that's subscriptions, whether that's a larger audience so they can charge more for ads, whether that's more ad clicks directly. They want more people to read their article, listen to their podcast, watch their YouTube video, right? That's how this game works. So we've got to think about how your expertise, your insight, your unique company, your unique brand is going to help give them that edge so that they're going to get more clicks, more revenue, more customers, more viewers, more listeners, etc. Yeah? Okay, so here's an example of answering the question, so what? Why should I care? Okay. And Ainsley can share, I'll share an insight with a template with her so that you can all download it and you can start using this in your own press pitches without a problem. Okay, so I'm going to share something with you at the end, and Ainsley can email it over to you or whatever. Okay, so here's one of our template examples. Okay, you'll get blank insight from my blank experience, which means that your blank will have blank ideas not found anywhere else. So you can say I've just filled it in. You'll get unconventional insight from my 10 years experience, which means that your podcast will have insightful ideas not found anywhere else. Okay, so we're connecting our experience and our insights to them and what they're going to get. And they know if they have insightful ideas not found anywhere else, it's a little bit of a hook. It's like, okay, that's going to drive more listeners. More listeners is going to drive a bigger audience and more revenue. I'm interested in speaking with you. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that a lot of people miss is having a clear call to action in their press pitch. Again, it doesn't matter if you're doing cold outreach and you found publications that you want to pitch to, or if you're doing inbound responses on Hero, a free tool, or on PressJockey. It doesn't matter. Either way, you've got to have a clear call to action. Okay? And that call to action should be a clear path forward so that the media can easily and quickly follow up with you. Okay? So we do add additional links. We do add resources to the pitch. We do make it easy for the media to connect with us. That is critical. We're not writing them a novel. We're not leaving it up to them to decide what's next. They will do that anyways. We're suggesting, hey, here's an easy way to get in contact with me. Okay? So here are some quick call to action examples. Okay, I can show you. So if you've got something that you want to show them, say, I can show you. Let's set up a quick 10 to 15 minute chat. And then again, you set up a 10, 15 minute chat and show them what you're talking about. Okay. You can email me or give me a call until 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. You notice this is a very specific call to action. I said you can email me or call me until 10 p.m., which is quite late tonight. Why did I say 10 p.m. and why am I willing to go the extra distance to, maybe jump on a quick 10, 15-minute call? Because the media moves fast. And if this is the New York Times and they're putting out a story for Thursday morning and today's Tuesday afternoon, I want to give them as much opportunity to connect with me as possible so that I can be featured in the New York Times. Okay. And here's a third call to action example. Happy to discuss via Zoom, phone, or email. Here are my contact details again to make it easy. So again, I'm not leaving it up to chance for them to try and find my phone number in my signature, or try and find my Zoom link, or reach back out to me and say, hey, Cahill, what was your Zoom link again? No, here are the details. You can literally click on this to reply, or literally pick up the phone right now and give me a call. Okay, so these are very clear call to action examples. Okay.
Cahill, I have a quick question for you.
Yep.
So would it make sense, because you're saying that the media moves very quickly, would it make sense in any instances to say something along the lines of, I can, let's have a quick chat, and I can send you, what's your address? I can send you some samples, because we're talking about food. Maybe they might want to, taste it to believe it. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great point. And so that is something that I know a company that has done very, very well using these exact strategies. And we'll go back to PressJockey and we'll jump in. And that has worked very well for them, is sending samples over and investing in that type of connection. Yeah? And so with your CTA, yeah, if we're going to switch this, let's use number one. Okay, I can send you a sample today, or I can send you a sample tomorrow morning. What's your address? No obligation. Love for you to try the product. And boom, you can spark a response, and they might say, hey, oh, no need to send a sample. Let's just chat. Great. Okay, so you can have a very clear call to action. But getting the product into the hands of journalists, bloggers, YouTubers, TikTokers, etc., that is an extremely valuable tool. Okay. Now, actually, let's do this. We're going to jump over. This is a little impromptu, so let's do this. We're going to jump over to PressJockey and we're going to look at gift, okay? Because I think this is going to talk to what you're talking about. Okay. Boom. Okay. So we've got the gift keyword here. Okay. So options. Let's view matches. Okay. Here are some of the matches for gift. Okay. So this, if I were anyone on this call and I'm looking to get my product into the hands of the media, I would be leveraging a keyword like this on top of reaching out to people on cold outreach or that outbound PR. I'd be doing both so that I can get my product into their hands. Okay. So for example, this person, right? Okay, so looking for an opportunity in the Mother's Day gift guide around health, wellness, pickleball. Okay, pickleball, not quite what we're looking for. Tournament approved paddles are popular with women. Not quite what we're looking for. However, maybe you've got an interesting beverage or recovery product or energy bar or something that you can tag along with. And you can say, hey, not quite a paddle, but we've noticed a lot of new women athletes or a lot of, recreational women athletes love trying these energy bars or love trying our beverage. I can send you a couple, no obligation. Again, we're using that call to action, no obligation. Let me know what your address is. I'm happy to always chat about it. And you send that off. And again, 100 people you send that off to, 15, 20 will respond to you. You'll have to send 15, 20 products, maybe 10 products, and you'll get placed 2 or 3 times. And great, like that's something that we can actually do, okay? So that's pickleball. Let's scroll down and look for another one, okay? Okay, what do we see here? fashion and beauty, clocks, looking for product to include in my Mother's Day gift guide this year. DM me or email me if you have something suitable that you can send out to me for review. Boom. So I would just respond to this. Hi, I have this, I think your audience would love this product. I checked out your, your blog, Sarah, trademark, blah, blah, or whatever. And here's why I think your audience might love this, or why mothers love this gift. What's your address? Happy to send it to you. I'm also happy to show you how we do the process of making it. If you're ever interested, let me know and send. And boom, that response goes out right away. Okay? So yes, this is something that I would do, Ainsley, is I would absolutely send the product to people. Now, again, if you want to get in gift guides and you're going to be doing this, you've got to budget for that. You've got to think about how many of these, again, you're going to respond to 100 in a month, you're going to get 15 responses. Maybe all 15 will ask for product. We don't know. But maybe only 10 will ask for product. Out of those 10, 2 or 3 are going to say, okay, we want to feature you on our podcast or have you on board, or I love the product, let's talk about it, etc. Okay. And so you've got to think, okay, this is kind of the cost of getting that PR. Okay. Now, one of the things, so let's go back to our other screen. And if you have any questions, again, please just write them down, and we are going to jump into questions in just a minute because we're almost done here. Okay, so putting it all together, okay? So subject line, I just used their topic, okay? So regarding gift guide for mothers, because that's what we just looked at. Why are you emailing? All right, well, regarding what? Can you help them immediately? Hey, you'll love this product that I've got, XYZ product. We're seeing a lot of mothers, rave about health benefits, how it impacts their energy, and the awesome flavor, right? It's intro 1. So what? Why should I care? That's the second paragraph. How are you going to get me more clicks? How are you going to help me? I think your audience is going to find a lot of tremendous insight on how we built this product and the sustainable, healthy food sources that we use to make this energy bar, right? Paragraph 1.5, if you need a bit of extra explanation, I don't think in this case you do, so we'll skip to paragraph 2. Okay. I'm happy to send you over a couple of samples and would love to chat about how new mothers can use this energy bar to, stay awake and be more healthy. Let me know your address. I'll send one over today. Sign off business casual. Thanks, or chat soon, or thank you, right? And then you can also include a PS. PS, I'm a new mom myself, or PS, I have gone 24 hours without sleeping because of X, Y, and Z. Here's a link to my LinkedIn, or here's a link to my blog, or something interesting, right? Here's a link to my latest article in, newmoms.com, something like that, so that the journalist has an opportunity to learn a little bit more about you, okay? And that you notice how short that response is, and I would just send it off, and then I go to the next one, okay? And in doing that, you're going to start to, again, 100, get down 20, 15, 20 responses, 10 people are going to talk to you, 2 or 3 placements are going to happen, okay? And that's what I would do over and over and over again, okay? So I don't know how much time we have, Ainsley, to...
Yeah, we've got until top of the hour. If you're good, if you guys have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I can definitely read them out here. So I see a question from Mike here. What do you do when you get press? How do you maximize it? Oh, that's a great question, Mike.
Great question. Okay, so we can build a live pitch in just a second. It takes just a second. But what do you do when you get press? Okay, so one of the things that I always tell clients is, and this is why, by the way, when you're working with an agency like ours or any agency, they're going to say, we don't do press less than 3 months, sometimes less than 6 months. and you think, oh, that's really expensive. Or I've got to spend $10,000 for 6 months. Like, what the heck? That's not fair. Okay, there's a reason why they do that. And this is going to answer your question. They do that because press takes time, and press gets you more press. It's this compounding effect. Okay. So yeah, you may start on a low blog that nobody really wants to start on. Okay, fine. But then you start getting into larger blogs because you have press already. You've already been interviewed. You've already been on a podcast. You've already been featured in the gift guide. So then you can use that. And this is what you do. You use that to get you more press. I was just featured in the Mother's Day gift guide on XYZ. They loved the flavor of our product and how it gives you more, how it gives, new moms more energy. Right? I'd be happy to send you over, and I'm using the exact same CTA. I'd be happy to send you over a sample today, or chat about how we use our sustainable products in the energy bar, and boom, you send it off. So you use press to get you more press. Okay, so that's one. Two, you want to take that press and you want to promote it on your social channels. Okay, so promote it with your social channels and with your community. Hey, we were just featured in this gift guide. Hey, we just had a quote on X, Y, and Z. Hey, read the new article on ABC. Hey, check out our podcast. You want to promote yourself, okay? And this is an entirely different topic, but you can use that piece of press to promote yourself multiple times over the course of a couple of months. So if you get featured in the New York Times today, let's say, one of the biggest publications in the world, you don't want to just say, hey, I was featured in the New York Times on Twitter, and I was like, it's gone. Tomorrow people are like, oh, we're looking at the new news. No, you want to use that over and over and over and over and over again for the next couple of months, so that you can say, hey, I was featured in the New York Times today. And then in a couple of days, hey, if you missed it, check out my feature in the New York Times. And then in a week, quote part of the New York Times. And hey, this is an article I was featured. And then in 2 weeks, you use it in your emails. And in 3 weeks, you see what I mean? And you keep going with that kind of promotion for a couple of months, okay? So press gets you more press, so that's how you use it. You use it to promote on your social and your community. And then you should absolutely include your press coverage on your website as featured in or as seen in. That will drive up conversion rates, okay? I would also recommend if you can just put up a really basic page of like media we've been featured in, and boom, here's the articles. It could just be a list. It could just be a table. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just make it easy so that other people, when they do research on you, they can see that you're an expert in your field. They can see that your brand has been featured, and they can include you as well. All right. So that's also what I would do. And then you can talk to Ainsley about including it on, pitch cards to grocery stores, etc. But that may help you provide social proof and social credibility to those stores as well. It's like, hey, we've been featured in X, Y, and Z magazines, especially if they're really notable ones. It's like, wow, okay, you're a legitimate product that maybe we should feature. If you've been featured on the New York Times and on ABC News and in newmoms.com, maybe people are looking for your product. And so that's something that the grocery store should know about, right? Or your distributor should know about. Like, oh, okay, wow, you've been featured on these places. You have an audience, or you have a group of people that are looking for your product, okay? So those are the 3, maybe 4 ways that I would use press, okay? So another question was, okay, how do you measure the effectiveness of press, say within that 3 to 6 month period, or the amount of duration? Is there a metric used to know if the press is being maximized? Great question. A couple of different questions here. So let's break it down. How do you measure the effectiveness of press? Okay. So this is done in a couple of ways. Again, most companies won't tell you this. It's hard. Okay. It is hard to measure the effectiveness of press. Okay. There aren't any really clear-cut ways where you can say, hey, I was featured in the New York Times and that literally got me X amount of sales. That doesn't happen right now. Okay? What you can do is what the media does is We typically look at the impressions you're going to get, the engagement on your articles, those types of things, if that media outlet will share it with you. Okay. And that's how you get an idea of how effective your press is becoming. Okay. So if you're featured on really large blogs and you've got a prominent feature on the homepage of the New York Times, that is obviously very different than being featured on a small blog that gets, only 1,000 people versus 10 million people, and being featured on that small blog's, second or third page. You're probably getting way less, viewership. Okay. So we measure it based on the potential views as one. Okay. We also will put in certain tracking links so that we can see how many people come back to our site. Okay. And then we also will look at it from a general perspective. And this is maybe a little more complicated in terms of the marketing, but if we're doing a campaign over the course of 3 to 6 months, we're going to be looking at other metrics and seeing how press has lifted up our other metrics. So have we gotten more traffic? Have we gotten more conversions? Have we gotten more links back to our community or our site? Have we gotten more signups? And this we can kind of attribute to things like, hey, if we're doing ads, we have a very clear-cut $1 equals X amount of revenue in. And if we're doing a big press campaign and we've been featured on 4 or 5 publications per month, we can see that lift that happens with a lot of things at once. And so we'll look at that. Okay. So that's how we try and measure the effectiveness of press. Okay. How do we know if the press is being maximized? Well, now this is up to you, right? So if you promote your press on your social channels, in the right way, you use it in newsletters, you share it on your communities, you put it on the cards that you send out to the distributors, grocery stores, you're leveraging it a lot, then you should be able to look at, do people engage with it? Are people clicking through to it? Do people like or retweet or share the posts that you're sharing? So you've got to track it yourself. Okay. So I think that answers both of those questions. Great question, Sam. Any other questions? Ainsley, do you have any questions?
I don't think I have any other questions. I love what you shared about the gift guide piece, because I don't think we always look at that, right? Like, guys, if you can have your products featured in a gift guide, that it's just really, really broad strokes. And it can apply in so many different ways. There are so many different gift guides for this. Obviously, there's the individual specific pieces for your business as well, but that's something I know I like, you don't think about it right away. So that's a really, really great one. Guys, you should definitely, when you get PR, like, use that. Oh my gosh, a retailer is going to be so excited to see that. If you can even include that on your sell sheet, that is something that you could put on there that brings you that credibility to them. It gives them one other reason why you're going to help bring people to their store because of that. So those are really, really key pieces. Yes.
So a couple more things. And so I do notice another question. Would you recommend sending a journalist a press release? Okay, let's talk about this for just a second. Okay. I think unless you have really big news, press releases are not a good use of your resources. They're not a good use of your money. Okay. That's my caveat. And I don't know of course it's going to change with every individual business, but my general thought, even with the larger clients that we work with, they're like, oh, okay, we just hired a new CMO from, GM or Google or whatever. I'm like, or not CMO, because I'm usually the CMO. We hired a new director of sales from Google. I'm like, no one cares. Like, no one cares. And so don't waste your money on having us write a press release and then paying to put that press release out so that it can sit in the inbox of a journalist, when we could just go find that journalist on the outbound PR, find that journalist, message them because we know they're talking about HR, or we could just respond to press. To me, it's a big waste of money, unless you have really interesting news. then it is a fantastic use of money. Okay, so what do I mean? We did a press release for a company that was the first company in Canada to secure a license from the Canadian government to sell cryptocurrency in a specific way. Okay. That was big because they were the first and they were competing with another company to be the first. So they were the first. So we jumped on that press release and we pushed that press release out. And then we did outbound, PR. And we got 12 to 14 placements in a single month. Okay. So that's when I would use a press release. If you've been on, I don't know, the Oprah, or you've been on Joe Rogan's podcast, or you've been on, the number one food blogger, Meghan Markle's podcast, like, okay, cool. Now you've got some big news, push a press release. But again, we got to remember, a press release is going to take you time to write. It's going to cost you money. So if you want to distribute your press release, a company like Berkshire Hathaway's company, so that's Warren Buffett, right? His company charges, I believe it's around $10,000 to do a press release to like all of North America. It's not cheap. Even if you cut that down, you're probably looking at between $2,500 and $5,000 to do a press release, not including the person who wrote it. Okay, so it costs you money. And if you go free or you go low cost, the press release doesn't go to anybody. So it's just like, why are you spending $500 if it's not going to the journalists you want anyways, right? So it's like, okay, you're going to spend thousands of dollars on the press release. Only do it if you have really big news. Okay. And so you'll have to individually decide what that news is like, but that's when I would use a press release. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch them. Okay. You can allocate that money to hiring a VA, using PressJockey, doing some cold outreach, and like really just getting in front of the people, sending product. I think it's going to cost you $20, $30 to send a product. Okay, take that $3,000 and send it to 100 people. That's what I would do before I did a press release. I would not touch press releases unless you have really big news. Okay? So I hope that answers that question. And then lastly, someone asked, oh, can you talk a little bit more about PressJockey? Sure, I'd be happy to. Let's take a really quick look for those who are interested, okay? So PressJockey, what is it again? So we find and filter thousands of requests from multiple sources around the web so that you don't have to do that work. Okay, remember I said you can use Haro and you can filter through their emails yourself. It will cost you nothing, okay? So you can do that. But you have to go into your email every day. You have to filter through the requests. You have to read dozens of requests. You have to then go on Haro and you have to respond, okay? And that's just Haro. There's also Twitter. There's also Quoted. There's also Radio Guest List. There's also, and there's another one, Source Bottle. There's like multiple platforms like this, depending on where you are in the world and depending on how much press you want to get. You've got to check them all, okay? PressJockey aggregates all of that into one spot. So right away, it saves you a ton of time. So you can just see, as an example, this is from this month, okay? We've gone through 7,100 requests and almost 4,000 tweets. So that's like 11,000, requests this month, okay? We've done a bit of a calculation on how much time it's saved because we've got a lot of keywords. We probably need to update that. It's probably not 180 hours. It's probably more like 120 hours that has been saved, but it's a lot of time. And again, let's assume that you are getting paid minimum wage in your state or your city, okay? My guess is 120 hours, 100 hours at minimum wage is a lot of saving, is a lot of cost. And if you can save that money for, right now it's $47 to start, it's $100 if you're going to get into more keywords, etc. That's really worth it because my guess is you get paid more than minimum wage. Okay. Now you can also just give this tool to a VA, and so let's call it 50 to $100. You can give it to a VA and pay the VA whatever, $6 to $12 an hour, and they can manage it, 1 hour a day, and you're off to the races, pun intended. But so this is what PressJockey allows you to do, okay? And so you can see here, I've got all my most recent matches, and what it does is it's filtering all these matches down. You can see it over here too, filtered requests. It's filtering all these matches down so I don't have to go through them all. I can actually just come here and search for gift, boom, and it'll pull up all the gift responses that have been filtered from tweets, from Haro, from radio guest list, from all sorts of things, okay? I can click on them. I can see what it's looking like, okay? So we're seeking gift recommendations to feature in a Father's Day gift guide. Cool. You know, best Blackstone cooktop griddle accessories. Cool. Griddle accessories can include food. Why not, right? Hey, I've got this awesome spice mix. I've got this awesome dry rub, etc. Right? Product sample required. So they're telling you exactly what they want. Awesome. So with PressJockey, you can come in here. You can enter a custom pitch. You know, and I can just enter whatever I would like here, or you can use templated pitches. You see down here. So these are my templated pitches. And we have pitches, so I just clicked on that. So we have pitches that you'll be able to use that we found to be very successful. And you can just come in here, right? Notice a request for Father's Day, right? Gift ideas, right? Insert topic here, gets deleted because that's a template, obviously, right? Boom. Let's be honest. They were talking about grilling, right? Grilling, you know, whatever. Every man loves grilling, you know? Okay. So we know that they're targeting fathers, right? And we can go through and create you know, and create our own pitch here, right? Every man loves grilling. Why? Because it's being connected with fire, the outdoors, right? And nature. Okay, awesome. And we can go through here. All you need to do once you've filled out your pitch is you hit send email. Boom, it'll pop open. So this is my email, and I just hit send. Okay, and it will send off to this person. So it speeds up your response time dramatically. Okay, and then you'll see it has a green color here, and so I know, okay, I've responded to that. Okay. Now you can go in here, you can add pitches as you want. So you can create new pitches, you can save pitches, you can add keywords. And so you can filter through thousands of press requests from multiple sources around the web with PressJockey and quickly respond to them, okay? And so that's what PressJockey is. We built it literally for our agency because I had spent tens of thousands of dollars hiring staff to do this manually for clients. And so I thought, hey, there's got to be a better way for businesses in general, other agencies like myself, to be able to do this in a better way. And this is what PressJockey is, and this is why we created it, right? So as you can see, this is what it's all about. You can filter your requests, and you can just quickly respond to things right here from within the app. Okay? Now, PressJockey will also send you notifications via email saying, hey, you've got matches. So you don't have to be in the app all the time. We send you notifications. You decide once a day, 3 times a day, or as they come in. Just a little hint, as they come in is a little spammy. There's like a ton of requests that come in that might match your keyword. But so this is what it does. So we recommend once a day or 3 times a day, and you'll get notifications of all the platforms that we're aggregating from, and we'll say, hey, here's what you got to do. Okay, here's your matches. You can respond to them. Now you do have to have accounts on things like Haro, but instead of going through Haros and sorting through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, you will just get the relevant matches for your business. Okay. Plus you get the templates, plus you get other insights and a quick way to respond to everything. Okay. So that's PressJockey in a nutshell. Let's answer a couple more questions for anyone who wants to keep going. I've got a bit more time. So would sending a media kit product information deck to the writers be beneficial? That is a good question. Those are two different things. Okay. Media kit is more of who you are. Why should I care about you? Why should I care about your business? And where have you been featured? It also has your logos. It has like all the essentials for that journalist to get in contact with you quickly. They already have an insight about you. And if they're going to feature you in something, they already have your logos. They don't have to ask. They already have links to your website, your LinkedIn, etc. Like they don't have to ask you for anything. That's what a media kit's about. Okay. So do I send media kits? Yes, sometimes. Absolutely. Okay. Would I send it initially? No, typically not. Typically I send the either pitch that we showed you how to build. I send that, or I respond to their press request. And then if they're interested in connecting with me, then I've got a media kit that I can send them. Or we put one together and we just include our links, etc. Okay. Product information deck. Do I want to send that over? I don't think so, unless it relates to their audience and how their audience is going to get more information, then okay. But typically your product deck is more about your product and more about probably why you created the company, etc. But those are all things that they're going to ask you about if they want to feature you anyways, right? Could you link to it in your PS? Absolutely. PS, after a call to action, hey, I'm happy to chat about this and send you a sample. Let me know your address. I'll send one today or first thing tomorrow morning. And keep your word, by the way, when you do that, right? So that the journalist is like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, please send someone over. You could then say, thanks, look forward to connecting. PS, if you're ever interested, here's a link to our product deck. So you can see the interesting, how we created our brand and why, this is so impactful for new moms. Again, we're using that mom example. Okay. So yes, in that case, I might do that, to send over a product deck, but I'll put in the PS. Okay. I think that covers the questions. Any more questions for anyone who's still on?
And I just threw a link in there, guys, to PressJockey. If you haven't checked it out already, I put in the comments too. I just had an opportunity on NBC this morning. Like it's like big publications, small publications, all sorts of things. Leanne, I know you specifically asked to like learn a bit more about it. I know your product, especially because I know that you've had some good PR too. Like you could so easily leverage the fact that you've been on Dragon's Den to get more PR. Right?
Yeah,
Like
that's
that'll help
super
you
cool.
so much. Yeah, that'll really
That's
help
super
you.
cool.
And yeah.
So, sorry to just jump in.
Yeah.
And for all of us who haven't been on Dragon's Den, if you've been featured anywhere, if you've talked anywhere, if you've done any speaking, if you've been on any podcast, if you've written anything, leverage it. Like I know that you all come from interesting backgrounds. There's always a reason why you decided to create a food product or a beverage product. You've got to pull that out and you've got to leverage that and say, like, hey, here's why I can give you, the journalist, media, podcast, whatever it is, here's why I can give you interesting insight and why your audience is going to love learning about this product or love trying this product, and I know you all have that. It's just a matter of pulling it out and putting it into a pitch like we showed you and getting it out there. And so if you do have Dragon's Den, or if you've raised money, or if you've been featured anywhere, leverage it. Like you can leverage your press to get more press, like literally. As a quick example. Okay, so I got an opportunity. So one of our newer clients came on board and she wanted us to do press for us, and she uses using the PressJockey agency version, and she has far more experience than me in AI and AI technology. But I got unbeknownst to us, we both submitted a pitch for the exact same opportunity, and I got the opportunity over her, not because I have more experience, but because of the way in which I structured the pitch. So that's the main one. And also because I already have a lot of press. And so that helped me get ahead of the competition. And so I'm actually putting a case study together about this with like literally the pitch structure that we went through today. That's literally what we did. Slight variation. But that's what we sent versus her pitch, which was like, it was great. It was long, but it was okay. It was long. It was all about her, and mine was all about the journalist. Here's the quick insights, boom, and they chose me, and so we've got a meeting with the world's largest tech publisher, O'Reilly Media, for AI, and I'm not nearly as experienced as she is, right? But it doesn't matter, is my point. You nail the pitch, you can leverage your own press or your own speaking engagements or your own talks or whatever you've done, and you will start to get more press, okay? And again, you don't have to use PressJockey, you can use Haro, you can use Twitter. It's going to take time, but this is how you get press for next to nothing. You know, like even on PressJockey, 50 to $100 a month is next to nothing, and you can start to get a couple of opportunities. Like again, you land an opportunity on NBC. If you were paying our agency, we would literally charge you 10 to 20 grand a month to try and get those opportunities. And you can get that for 50 to $100 if you use PressJockey, or if you use Haro and you want to just spend the time, no problem. You can get it for free, you know? And so that is an option for you. So you've got all of those, okay? All right, I am done. Unless there's any more questions, I'm happy to stick around for a couple more minutes. If not, then I will send over the template on how to address the question why. So what? Why should I care as a journalist or as a podcaster? So that you can start to construct your pitch. And yeah, we'll put together something fun for the entire audience in terms of getting involved with PressJockey. If you want to get involved, you know, up until March, I am happy to do one-on-one with you, like I would do with a normal client that pays, you know, quite a bit of money. So I'm happy to build your pitches for you, build a couple of examples for you, help guide you and get you into, you know, make sure you're really set up for success here. Because PressJockey is relatively new. We just launched in middle of January. So it's relatively new. I'm happy to go the extra distance for you, for anyone who wants to jump on it. And we'll do a quick call and we'll get you all set up, okay? And if not, good luck. I really hope that you can get more press with what you're doing. And there are tools out there like Haro and Twitter that you can leverage for free to like really start to push forward. So I hope this was helpful.
Awesome. Well, looking at the comments here, this was incredibly helpful. People saying this is invaluable, going to change the outreach. So Cahill, thank you so much for sharing all this information with everyone. I'm excited to see you guys in some publications and seeing you guys being featured in some more blogs, maybe some TV spots, maybe some different publications. I want to see your guys' brands out there because I know so many of you guys on here. I know you guys have fantastic products that are really changing the world. So Cahill, thank you so much for popping on, for sharing all of this with everyone. I know this tool has been such a game changer for me. I used to use Haro and I honestly just ignored it because it was like spam to my inbox, but then I never outreached to anything and I never got any press. And since using this, I've been able to have way more press opportunities and it's been really helpful. So Cahill, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, everyone. I can't wait to see you guys getting some more PR following this training. All right. Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you later.
Take care, everybody.